Hello everybody, how are you going? And welcome to my attempt at making Canada's famed and favourite Nanaimo Bars. Yes, today I will be putting my, dare I say, lack of baking skills to the test, even though it's a no-bake dish. Either way, I will be attempting to make this famed and favourite dish of theirs, and hopefully I do it justice. I've set the bar low, not from the bar's point of view, but from my point of view. There's a few quirks of this entire setup just from being in a different country, but let's just see what I can pull off. So of course it all starts with the ingredients, and like I said, it wasn't just the easiest straightforward road. I mean, some things are the same, but other things aren't the same, and it's not just easy as just going out and getting the thing on the recipe. Even just the recipe, you just throw some weird words in there. Of course, things like butter, I can get that. Cocoa powder, I mean, there's some random things in there, and unsweetened cocoa powder doesn't really seem to be a thing unless you want to spend a lot of money, but this is the best that I could find. Otherwise, sugar and eggs are fine, but the main problem with this whole thing that I think makes sense is the graham crackers. Now, the problem with graham crackers in the first place is that I never even knew that they were graham crackers, and everyone was pronouncing graham as graham. That's just ridiculous. As even though these aren't graham crackers, I swear that every single movie, TV show, everything that has ever come out of North America has pronounced it as graham, as in like kilogram, not graham. Regardless, like I said, these aren't it, but after looking online, this is the closest we can kind of get. There's two options, but apparently digestives aren't too far off. So that's what we've got on the menu, and hopefully they, like I said, don't let it down. Of course, there are also some other things that I'm sure, especially as a family recipe, people would love to be throwing in there. Like one recipe said almonds, one recipe, and there was a lot of nuts actually, but I'm sure people have plenty of different things that they would love to throw in there, even toppings, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, however you want to be worded in that. I went with a milk. I don't know if that's going to stuff it as well. It might, and so please feel free to let me know what I've got wrong, as I'm more than open to admit that it's not the perfect situation, let alone my ability. But regardless, I have everything that I believe I need, and that is step one done. The recipe literally says gather all ingredients is step one, which is a good step one. If you don't have everything, well, you get caught out pretty quickly. Now, as much as I don't know much about baking, I feel like I know enough to know that I don't know enough, that I can't just jump straight into it head first without reading through the entire recipe first, or at least the method, just to be sure that I'm not going to catch myself out. And so I think I need to proportion everything out for starters. That's going to be a hell of a bar if I just do all of that in one big tin. And so what do we have? First, I need half a cup of butter. I've never really heard of butter being measured in cups. Surely it's going to be grams, but it's the North American style, sure. It also did say softened, and so this guy has been out for a while, and I'm hoping that, what is that? Going to be half a cup? I feel like I should be using the whole thing according to the recipe. Come here. Come hither. Get off your base. There we go. That's, yeah, maybe a little bit more, but that's going to be that proportioned out. Cocoa powder is fine, as that's just 5 tablespoons, which I guess I'm going to have a whole box left over, but that is what it is. And then the sugar. How much? A quarter of a cup of sugar. I can do that. Make sure I just get actually the right one though. I don't want to be getting icing sugar, which is another weird name. What do they call it? Confectioneries sugar? Something random like that. Not a word that I've ever heard before, but hey, caster sugar is apparently the closest thing that you can get in Australia, or the same thing. But from here, even regardless of the ingredient Google searching, I just had to start Google searching what even a double boiler means. And now I know it's basically this with a little bit of this in here, just to keep it from being too hot. So a double boiler is going to be used, like I would have seen before, to melt the chocolate, but I've never heard it called a double boiler before. Either way, you live and you learn. And so once this gets going, that should be okay. I think I just need a small water. That'll be right. And hopefully, it's not the greatest setup, but it'll do. And then once that gets boiling, all of this can go in. In the meanwhile though, we have to turn our attention to these guys, as it does say crumbs, and I can't exactly go and buy crumbs. Well, actually, I'm sure that someone probably can buy crumbs, but I don't know of anyone that can buy digestive crumbs. That's certainly not a thing. So how do I want to go about destroying these? Honestly, I've never seen a digestive without its chocolate coating, and so that's a first. I mean, they're not bad as their own, but I've never had a plain one, and so now I have to destroy the poor thing though. So 1 3/4 cups of graham cracker crumbs. I mean, well, that's mighty convenient. Okay then, Well, I guess it's going to be like 12 biscuits or something. There we go, 1 3/4 cups. How I crush those, haven't yet figured it out, but I think I'm just going to go to town on it, to be honest. Ooh, oh, actually they're so satisfying to crush. Whoa, I expected them to be not as crumbable for starters, but they just turn to smithereens instantly. I expected them to be quite sharp and brittle. I kind of want to taste one. But anyway, I'll leave it for the final taste test. Maybe I'll have some after, but this is working. Well, way better than expected, to be honest. Look at this. All of a sudden I will have 1 3/4 cups of, well, I guess I can measure it out, but 1 3/4 cups of graham cracker digestive crumbs. And look, as much as I probably wouldn't mind discovering a decent sized chunk of Vicky, at the same time I am going to try and make it crumbs. I'm just going after every little last bit, but I won't be able to get every single last bit. It does make me wonder though, when they're making graham cracker crumbs, are they making the biscuits and then crushing them? Or is there a better process than just defeating the whole process of making it in the first place? Alright, well it is showtime, so I'm going in with the butter, the 1/2 cup of butter. Hopefully that melts up. Hopefully I don't spill because I had to fill it up a little bit more just to make it all work, but that's alright. I can deal with that as well. I'll just go all over the stove. And then I'm going in with the cocoa powder and the sugar. Here we go. The sugar in there. And then cocoa powder. Open you bad boy up. 5 teaspoons. If I can not overdo it, that would be lovely. But 5 teaspoons of this. That's a lot, but hey, I'm sure that's what gives it its goodness. Call it 3 because there's been spillage. Call it 4, and then 1 and a bit for good luck. Come on, packet, cooperate, please. There we go. That is what I'm going to call 5 teaspoons of that. And so now, before I let it boil and burn, trouble and everything like that, if I start stirring, hopefully everything comes, well, up Millhouse, so to say. I must admit, I am happy with how this is coming along. Obviously, I'm not stirring it right this second, but I am stirring it, I swear, and so that will be melting quite nicely in my double boiler, whatever the hell contraption this is. Alright, well that is looking very lovely and smooth. So it says, go in with the egg, which just feels weird. I don't feel like this is, if you ask me what the next step would be, the egg would not be it. Egg just go with flour and dry ingredients, not that. But hey, look, I'm not any kind of connoisseur of this. So egg goes in here. Really? Combine 1/2 cup of, yeah, beat in egg and stir until thick, 2 to 3 minutes. Alright, in she goes. No, it's going to be so hot, I won't be able to get that with my finger. Come back here. No. Oh, and it's gone. Oh well, it's only me that's going to be possibly eating a little bit of shell, and there's worse things for you. People complain about it, and it might not be the most professional approach, but it's not going to hurt you, it'll be fine. You know what? All of a sudden, this is looking pretty darn good. It just turned a page and went, yeah, I'll be thick now. Like, it's fantastic. And so, if I can just make sure it's all kind of melted and runny in the same way and all mixed together, I think I might just definitely turn off the heat, because there's going to be plenty in the water that's just litres upon litres of water that I don't need. But otherwise, as long as I don't get any water in here, because that's one of the lengths of my experience is burning chocolate by getting water in the bowl. Or no, I guess I didn't clean the bowl enough. Like I said, it is looking nice and it's got a good consistency to it, at least from what I believe I'm after. And so with that, like I said, I took it off the heat and now it's time to add the bread. I was going to say the breadcrumbs, which is basically what they are, but those bad boys over there that are just ready and waiting. That is now both of those guys in, and the mixing will begin. If I can find it, there we go. I can't mix very well, but this is going to be the process. And I did maybe have half a cracker too much, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Fast forward 20 seconds, and what do we think here? I reckon it's come up an absolute treat, especially from what I'm looking at the photos. That is what we want. So with my best efforts of baking paper looking kind of like theirs, it is time to press. And you could use something like this, I guess, if you wanted to kind of, I don't know, not get your hands dirty, but isn't that part of it? I don't know. It's a literal question, isn't it part of it? Just to be going around, getting your hands dirty. I guess then you get to lick them and go, ooh, that's what it's tasting like, or, oh, that's what it's tasting like. Now look, I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I am happy with how that has turned out, even just the pan size. For goodness sake, I mean, I can't exactly tell how thick it is, but it looks like it's the perfect thickness in my books. Call it 5 mil, and yes, like we can see that there's a few bigger chunks of the graham crackers, but otherwise, it'll be fine. Or I'm interested to see how it'll be fine. Hopefully it'll be fine. Now with re-cleaned utensils, I can go back in with, it says the other half, which I've got more, but sure, the other half, if I just want to include you in this mixture, the other half of softened butter, sweet, actually not, but sweet, that's good to go. It says 3 tablespoons of heavy cream. Now, the heavy cream thing makes sense, but also threw me. I've never heard of heavy cream. And from all the Google searching I could think of or find, it said thickened cream in Australia is the same as heavy cream. Please feel free once again to let me know if it's not, but I feel like it's the closest we're going to get, because I looked at everything and there's skim cream and this cream and that cream, and this is the heaviest thickened, I don't know what you'd call it, cream there is. And so like I said, 3 tablespoons of this bad boy. 1, 2, that was pretty heavy of a tablespoon, but sure, we'll go with that. That's 3 very nice tablespoons right there. And then for the final ingredient of the second layer, custard powder. Now, I've never had anything to do with custard powder. I'm sure there are plenty of people that have. I feel like it's a legacy product more so. Like, I feel like this is the kind of thing I've heard that was big in the 70s and 80s. But maybe, I mean, custard's still a big thing. But please let me know. Do you still use this? Am I out of the loop? Or is it just a one-off product that refuses to die? Either way, opening it up again, 2 tablespoons of custard powder. Oh, I need a tablespoon. We'll call it 1. And then if I'm gentle enough, here we go. We'll call, before it goes everywhere, that 2. Right, you, Mr. Glitter Bomb kind of situation, you go away. You stay away because you're dangerous. This really doesn't look like it's going to be anywhere near enough to cover that, but I guess, hey, the other ratio was fine. Oh, and I guess, yes, I've got the icing sugar to come, or the confectioner's sugar. 2 cups of it. What do you reckon? Is that light and fluffy? I would say that's pretty light and fluffy. I don't know what else you're going to be getting, and I'm not using an electric beater because I feel like that just causes things to go everywhere, especially when you're using this guy, but that's pretty light and fluffy to me. So now, like I said, for 2 cups of, I can't get over the fact that it's such a massive word, confectioner's sugar. 2 cups of icing sugar. Let's go with that. This still just has me so worried because confectioner's sugar sounds more like caster sugar than icing sugar, and it would almost make more sense in this situation, but it's what it said. So I'm not going to go against what it said because I certainly don't know. I'll tell you what, from what it's describing and what I'm seeing here, it has to be the right thing. I mean, caster sugar just wouldn't do this. It's so smooth and silky, and it's just the right color and everything as well. Look at it. Like, I can just see. I mean, even just the volume makes sense to go on there now. Oh, it's just getting me so excited for the final product. That's the main thing. And the custard smell as well. I don't know what else, what other slice, like, you know, Australia has plenty of slices. We have vanilla slice, which would be using it, but otherwise, caramel slice, obviously no. So many other things, but nothing like this. This is, especially the no bake, but, wow, it's just, I'm a fiend for a slice. And even though it's a bar, Nanaimo bar, it's a slice in terms of what I'm going to be comparing it to. Look at that. I mean, like I said, I'm not sure what it's meant to look like, but if it's after smooth, that is smooth. So then for the first dollop that will be going on you go, followed by any other little bit I can get off you, but that is not the main attraction right now. This guy is, and so if I just chuck you on there, let's just see. Like I said, hopefully the ratio is right, it looks right. Yeah, that's going to be a nice creamy mid layer if I've ever seen one. Let me just get it all out and then I can go to town on this guy. Look at that. It's a bit hard to see, there you go. That is going to be coming out marvelously, but I just have to put it back down so I don't stuff it now. That's truly now what I'm worried about the most, is just getting this far, feeling like I haven't stuffed anything up majorly, that at least is within my control, And now just going, oh, if I only just didn't do this at the final hurdle. But I guess that is also what baking is about. And so hopefully it will just move into all the corners and not ruin the base. Is that a problem that I have to be careful of? Maybe. Come on now, everyone behave. Thinking about it, at least the next part for this is very easy. I just chuck it in the fridge. So this is done, basically. I mean, I haven't spread it out. I'm not finished in that regard. But from a cooking point of view, from a being able to stuff it up, from an ingredients point of view, there's nothing else I can do about that. Unless some chemical formula changes in the fridge. I cannot change what this tastes like now. And considering the next part's just chocolate. And yeah, I think it's just chocolate. So surely I can't stuff that up, he says. Well, there you have it, just like that. It is all spread out. I think it's looking lovely. It's looking exactly how I think it should. And so I don't know what else to do to this now besides, like I said, chuck it in the fridge or gently place it in the fridge. I don't want anything to be going south. I'm a little bit confused because I was just talking about how easy it should be for the final layer as it's just chocolate. And there's a little bit of butter in there now that I've read it a little bit more. But at the same time, it says it's only 4 squares of baking chocolate. That's fine. But 4 squares? Like, how big are your squares? Because it says 1 ounce. And I had to check that. And it's like 25 or 30 grams. This is 180 grams. I would have been expecting to use at least like 3/4 of it. And I feel like I kind of want to. Otherwise, how am I meant to spread 4 squares or maybe 8 if you're just going to be generous over that entire tray? I understand that the ratios have been good so far, but there's no way. There's just no way. So I'm just going to do my own spin on it because, like I said, there's been some other compromises that have been made and we'll see how that turns out. But come on, it's chocolate. You can't go too wrong with having slightly more chocolate, or at least generally covered chocolate. I mean, if nothing else, I'm not going to go back to the double boiler, whatever it was called. I think I'm just going to do it in the microwave because that's what it said it could do. And so, like I said, I'm reckoning this is where it snapped. That's 16 blocks. That is literally 4 times as many as it says to do. And if I was to slice that over that tray, there's no way. So you know what? What am I going to do with all this baking chocolate otherwise? There we go. Whole thing in. If it's really that bad of an idea, let me know. But like I said, come on, it's chocolate. And so otherwise, a little bit more butter, which is prepped and mighty soft. Whoa. This guy just wants to fall apart. But that, honestly, is at that point where I don't think it really matters. It's just butter and sugar going together. And everything else, I guess it's just a lot of different forms of butter and sugar, isn't it? Which, hey, humans like that. Thinking about it now, I also have no idea how long the thing takes to set, or at least how long I should leave it to set in the fridge. I mean, is it an overnight situation? It doesn't seem to say, but I don't know. I don't know how long does custard that I've never used take to set. Looking at this, as much as it has been absolutely, very impressive with the ratios so far today, considering that it asked for 25 grams, let's call it, and I put in 180, and I'm still now questioning if I would have enough to cover the whole thing, I think I made the right choice. It's like they missed a 0 or moved the decimal point. Come on now, everybody out and everyone behave. Ooh, maybe not too much pressing, but I don't know how else I can spread this. Like I said, if I was waiting on the custard to become concrete, it's not, but I don't think it ever would. It's not that kind of material, so to say. But okay, maybe the chocolate was too hot. He didn't say anything about that either because the chocolate's going to become, cool and solid again. So, as much as I was worried about stuffing into the final step, I think from a flavoured point of view, I can't go too wrong. But from a looks point of view, it might not be what it possibly once could have been. I mean, it's obviously too late now, but I think you do just have to get that melted chocolate and basically pour it on top because the coolness of the custard and everything else just cools this chocolate down so much that I can't spread it without digging a trench. Oh, it's such a shame. I mean, I'm getting there, kind of trying to scrape the top layer and not go crazy into the whole thing, but it's not what I would have wanted, and I can't imagine it's this difficult for everyone to do. And so look, before I show you it, and I'm not even done yet, But before I show you it, don't worry. If anyone was thinking that their famous Nanaimo Bars that they take to the Grand Carnival every year and win first prize, if you were worried that they were going to be having a new challenger, I'm going to lose out on presentation. I don't know what they taste like yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they taste alright, just given the ingredients, but I'm not saying yours don't taste as good. I'm just saying that your presentation is probably going to be better than mine. But hey, for a first attempt, for a non-baker, I'm still kind of happy. And I hopefully can be still happy once I eat the thing. And I think it has to go maybe back in the fridge. I don't know. It must, because it's... this is not it. Anyway, I think this is basically as good as I'm going to be able to spread it, which is so disappointing. But look at this. It's so sad. I mean, it kind of looks alright, it looks like. But from what I'm looking at, it's just not it at all. There's custard coming up the top. I can't spread it out the sides. I mean, I'm glad I got the 180 grams, for goodness sake. Without it, it would have just been the middle, and that's it. Either way, I lost out at the end, but I think I'm going to chuck this in the fridge for a while. Hopefully it then sets, then try and get it out, then chop it, then give it a go. Alright, well it has been a few hours, and by a few hours I actually mean overnight, because like I said, I didn't know how long I should leave it to set, so I just went, stuff it, I'll just leave it to properly set, but I have not seen it. I don't imagine it's going to be looking any better, but maybe it's going to be a nice cold frosting, and so I guess if I grab it out, hopefully it's not all gone pear-shaped, so to say. What does this look like? I don't know, and I don't know if I want to know. I mean, it kind of looks like what it looked like before, and what I expected it to look like. And we'll see once I actually chop it up. But overall, like I said, I can't imagine that the flavour is going to be too impacted. Or I certainly hope not. But either way, I'm going to firstly have to attempt to try and get the bugger out of the tray. I think I might have to chop it around a little bit, because it said I greased for a reason. I guess I also just don't know how tough this is going to be. Like, as a bar, like a caramel slice is, well, it depends how kind of caramelly it is, but it can be quite tough, and it also can be quite soft. So to see how hard this is, I mean, this is just the edge, and it's alright, I guess. Ooh, yes, it is wanting to lift right out. Okay then, come on, come right out. Don't get stuck, there we go. Oh, look at that cross section. That is what I have seen many, many a time. Look at that, just that layer. I mean, like I said, how is the 28 grams of chocolate ever gonna work? Anyway, you can go aside. You probably aren't needed. And let's just crack this open. I'm still so excited. This is like one of the only times where I know what it tastes and you don't know what it tastes like. Even though if I've done it correctly, you do know what it tastes like. But oh, okay. So, out of the baking paper probably. Come on, Mel. Oh, I want to eat that. But anyway. And as much as I don't feel like I would win any competitions on my chocolate laying, maybe I can help redeem myself in the bar making. I wonder, is there a particular thing that people like? Is it meant to be small, let's say 20 by 20 mil? Or is it meant to be big, like 50 or 80 or 80, whatever it may be? I'm sure people have their own bite-sized opinions of different things. But I think I'm just going to start with a nice middle ground. Something like this. Ooh, hopefully the whole thing doesn't fall apart on me. You would need a very long knife to be able to chop that in one go, but that is a nice looking bar. And man, like I said, just that cross section. Chocolate on top, everything in the middle, but that nice base. I think that's what I love the most, is just the texture of the base. But enough is enough. So this is it. This is the guy I'm working with. What is it going to be like? Oh. Yeah. Oh. That. As much as people said it's a bar, that's a slice. It's like a coconut slice, which it is. But there's elements there that the custard comes into it, and it changes the game in a good way. And it's not too hard. Like I said, it's not like you're trying to wrestle the thing with your teeth and you're going to break it off. No, that is the perfect ratio, especially with the base. Like I said, I did love the base, the coconut element of it. I'm not getting much of the crackers, the graham crackers, sort of say, but I don't think it really matters. I think it's part of the texture more than anything, and that's with the coconut, isn't it? So, I know it's a hotly contested topic about where this all started, but whoever made this first, whoever dreamt it up, they're a genius, I reckon. I can't help myself, I'm just going back for more and more and more, and if that doesn't tell you enough as is, especially considering that I made it, let alone the levels that I'm sure some people can take it to in these, I guess, rural bakeries and all these little places. Like I said, people are adding almonds to it, or cashews, or whatever, any other nuts they want, let alone anything else. This would go crazy. I can imagine that I'm gonna have to kind of protect myself from eating the whole thing. I guess I can now have this guy as well, and just see what the custard's like. It really works. Wow, I was kind of skeptical on the custard part. I mean, I expected not everyone to have bad taste, but I didn't know how it would work in a slice like this. But I guess that's where the no bake comes into it. So what can I say besides, I reckon that is 100% success on the flavour side. I can definitely work on my presentation, but like I said, I don't think it matters if I'm enjoying it this much. Just close your eyes and enjoy it as much as you possibly want. And so Canada, you've certainly dreamt up a very nice slice that just seems well balanced between the different layers and everything like that. And it's as sugary and as crazy as it is, you almost, depending on how you want to think about it, don't feel like it's as sugary as some other things. So it's almost a win there as well. It really is a very well-rounded product, and so man, I'm definitely going to be having to polish this off and then make some more once upon a time, and maybe I'll give it a better go, or maybe I'll be able to give it a better go after it's not my first ever attempt. Speaking of which, if there is something you reckon I got completely wrong, please let me know, because I would love to know how this could possibly have changed from, like I said, ingredients to even just the products themselves, let alone if there is anything else you would like me to attempt to cook. I'd be open to that as well, because this is setting the bar very, very high.